Thank you everyone for coming here. Today we're gonna talk about proof of concept projects. There will be facts, there will be opinions, and this is why it's an opinionated guide on making proof of concept projects. For those who don't know me, I am Oussama Hafferssas. I am a senior Android engineer at Trainline. And for those who don't know Trainline, it's just an app that helps you, and a platform that helps you book train tickets across UK, Europe, and everywhere in the world. It turns out to be like a rocket science thing, not an easy thing to do, not like airlines. So basically you are trying to do that and just try to do good to everyone. You may ask yourself why we are talking about this, like proof of concept, why? The first reason is a personal reason. When I was asked to do some proof of concept projects to evaluate new technologies, I find very little to few to no guide on how to make them. And this was like, hey, there is no guide to do this, so I'm on my way on this journey. And you can think of it as like the math class that you maybe skipped at some point. And when you got senior, you wanted to enter maybe some big tech, you needed that math class and try to learn the math shit before, whatever. So you can think of it like a boring now, maybe, topic, but it will pay later on the long run. But I will do my best to keep it not boring. I know it's lunchtime, so I'll be quick. Let's start with this. Just imagine like a small snowball. Snowball, they can go very big just by rolling down, coming from like a hill or somewhere. So they get this size just by rolling out and getting, by that momentum, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. Actually, this is the same thing that applies to our products. That we start from very small idea, and then we keep iterating on it until we finally get a product. And in this journey, there's like intermediate states of products. One of the most known one is MVPs, like a minimal viable product. But I have a question for you. Where would you put MVP, like in these three states? Option 1. Okay, few. Option 2. Okay, we're few. 3. The majority. Good answer. Are you sure? Where would you put the prototype? Now I got your attention. Well, I'll give you an answer because I'm trying to be quick. MVP is very close to the final product, so it should be looking or behaving like the final product, so it is very close to the final product. And prototype, it's more about experimentation, and it's not about having that viable product that we actually user can use. I have an example for you. It's from Apple. So these photos were taken from a factory where Apple send their prototypes and so on for recycling. When the product is out, after 3 years, they send them to recycling. And these photos were taken for the Apple Watch. On the left side, this would be like the prototype. It's not like, it has not the characteristics of a watch. It's an experimentation of like very small device on wrist. But on the right side is the one that really looks like the final product, but also it's for experimentation. And it was hit by a train. This is the last joke about trains, I promise you. This is just was to make the room for proof of concept projects, so you get to see the map of things and where do you put your proof of concept projects. And the description is kind of very explicit. It's about proving something or concept works, that's for sure. But until now, we didn't speak about technologies. We are here to talk about technology, where in most cases, it turns out to be our products are made a lot from tech. And at some point, when you do a proof of concept, you start only with the technology and you try to figure out a way to use it and to experiment with it and have a product with it. If you were yesterday in the Stream SDK talk, they talked about it, which was very interesting. So this is one way to think about it, try to figure out a way to use it as a product. Or also, there is another way, which I think it's the most frequent one, which is evaluation. So there is Kotlin multi-platform technology, there's whatever technology out there. So you need at some point to evaluate it and try to experiment with it to know its limits, to know its benefits, and to see if it works for you or not. So the goal would be to avoid things like these, like you have a new technology, you get very excited about it, and you say, "Hey, it was like charming. I'm gonna use it. Just use it." Please don't. Especially if you I've seen the talk from Hadi Hariri yesterday. So instead, we'll be thinking about, hey, I know this new technology. I'm truly excited about it, which is good. Now, what I need to prove if that technology works for our needs or fulfills our needs. This is like the best way to approach things in tech. It was to mention that in tech industry, because it's kind of very simple to modify things. Imagine like a car manufacturer. When they do a prototype, at some point, if they want to modify it, it will be like they need to build that thing from the ground up. Whereas for technology, when we are using software, usually it's like IDE, refactor, whatever. So at some point, you can use the proof of concept, you can use the prototype, you can use the MVP to evaluate tech. It depends on your budget. If you have a big budget, you can go to an MVP and try to build something. But at some point, you say, hey, it doesn't work for us. Well, but you spent some budget. Some companies have a lot of budget. They go to products, like the one that was killed by Google, Stadia, and finalize the experiment by saying, no, we are stopping this. Until now, we didn't start the guide. Now we can do all of this. Just was like to give you like the holistic view about how things are organized in the product side of things. Starting with the guide, and we will start the first step by what we actually discussed, which is understanding your project needs. This is like the very basic stuff. Don't start just by going, hey, I want to play with this technology and want to experiment with it. This is my evaluation. I played with it. No, please don't do this. Understand what the project needs are, and also understand what the people's needs are, because sometimes technology touches a lot of people, not only software engineers, but also UI, UX designers, even HR. Example, banks, when they use mainframe, they now search for people from 1990 that still doing framework, and they can't. So, mainframe, they can't. So, technology touches a lot of people, a lot of things in your company. So try to be mindful and try to track needs in all of these contexts. Try to identify the context. And I will give you a tip. And the one tip is to track frustrations across teams. So inside of your team of engineers or so inside of the team of engineers or the company, when you track these frustrations, frustrations just hides the fact that there is some need that it's unfulfilled. This is the principle from something called nonviolent communication. We are not here to talk about violence, but just Marshall Rosenberg says that violence, his PhD, he's done research about this for 30 years or more. So he says that violence is just the result of frustration, and frustration is the result of unfulfilled needs. This is what it's about. So this will help you track the needs, and this will be our base thing. And we are preparing something on the right side. The second step would be the actual making of the project, the proof of concept project. This is what you get excited about, and me too, that's for sure. But there is something to take in mind, which is do it like a scientist. So it will be a real evaluation and not just playing with tech. That's the point. And you may ask, how can I do that? Well, I think we saw this at school at some point. We forgot it somehow, but these are small steps to do it in a scientific mindset. Just disclaimer, this is my opinion on the order of the steps. You can do whatever you like, but each step is crucial for the proof of concept. The first one that I mentioned is to read the doc, but otherwise you will not understand what the creators of the technology really wants to do or want to resolve. And also, this is how you avoid misusing the technology. That's a very big point. And then, after reading the documentation or whatever, try to build your hypothesis on how this technology is useful for your use case, because you know what are the needs, you already know, you did the exercise, good. Now you can see how this technology, you can understand how this technology may help you. And now what would be the next step is to experiment and see if this technology really help with those needs that you have identified. And this is where you go wherever you want, experiment, do whatever you like. But also keep in mind that this is the perfect chance to get the data. So when you are experimenting, try to have data from performance, how to use it, even how much time did you spend to learn it. It will be something maybe important later to say, hey, this framework is easy to learn or hard to learn. It's very good to have this kind of input. And basically, try to write down everything because you will need it later. So this, in my opinion, these are the crucial steps to do when you are experimenting with the proof of concept. You can iterate over them. And this would be, need some water. And this would be the vegan stick or the meat stick of our burger. And burgers come in different shapes and sizes, and you can have two, you can have whatever you like. It depends on something. It depends on your budget. So you can do a lot of iterations on these, and you can experiment very deeper with the technology, but it will always depend on how much time you got, how much resources, and aka how much budget you have. So this is something that you need to be aware of. But if you want to save time, you can start always with the happy path when you are experimenting, and then go deeper if you want to. And also, proofreading your experiments when you are experimenting with new tech can be good, because your colleagues will say, hey, you didn't maybe test this, or you didn't maybe experiment with this. I think it's very important to do, so you will not miss that use case. Now you experimented, good. Now we are in the third step, which is getting us back to the first one, which was about project needs. Why? Because after your experimentation, you have a group of findings. What you need to do is to project these findings on the needs that you have tracked before. And this is where you say, hey, this thing here, this feature in this technology works for engineers in some way. It doesn't work in other use case. Also, it depends on how much need you did gather. You will end up by having these multiple projections on people. I know it may sound boring, but it's very important, because this is what will makes your experimentation relevant. You are really doing needs, findings, projections. It's very, very relevant. And this would be the second slice of bread for our burger. But I know you're hungry. We'll not give you any burger, so we'll do another extra step. For this extra step, actually, you will be sharing your takeaways. So you did all of this awesome work. You know how this technology help you or don't. Now, the crucial part of it is to share this with people from your team, so you can decide to adopt or not the new technology. Or at some point there will be people like in the leadership who are between you and that technology, and you need to convince them about your choices. We usually we write down the technical documentation, whatever RFCs, whatever you have. This is crucial, like for later use cases. It's also important when you experiment with the first version of the technology. Sorry. When you experiment with the first version of the technology, you keep these takeaways, and then when you experiment with the second version, you will see like the takeaways in this technical document, and then you say, hey, the first time I find this and this, now I will try to test them again. You may have a sample project, which is good, but the most recommended one that I recommend, which is an opinion, is to give a talk and talk to people, like presentation or whatever. Why? Because in the first two ones, like the technical documentation, not everyone is reading the technical documentation, let's be honest about it. And the second one, the sample project, it will not cover all use cases, and it's not its job to do. And also people can understand things like in halfway through. So it's really important to give a talk, to understand, to share with people your understanding, and to try to be aware of the audience, especially in the case when you are trying to convince people from the leadership or non-technical people. It's very important to have this in mind. Don't go deep to the technical stuff. Do it with the engineers, it's good, but with other people, don't do it. It's not a good idea. Usually they end up not understanding what you are trying to share, even you are convinced it's good. If they don't understand, they don't get the point, they actually will not be aligned with you. And one thing you can use to help you, and this is tip, a very good one, is to use future reality trees. They call it FRTs. I took a Jetpack Compose, for example. So you can say, this is just this is a map of actions. You can say, hey, people, if we use Jetpack Compose, we can have better quality when it comes to rendering UIs. For instance, you can give example that shadows, maybe they are rendering in a good way, in the same way on pre-Android 8 and after Android 8, which is true. And also you can say, hey, we can build UI fast, which means that it's better time to market. This is the non-technical term of quick. And with both, the yellow circle is the end operator. With both, you can say, hey, happy clients, whatever. So this is the result of adopting the technology. But what it takes to adopt that technology, this is what people from the leadership will be looking for. So where you would invest to get this technology adopted. You can say, hey, we need to have an architecture with unidirectional flow of data. People need to have the time to learn Compose and whatever frequent updates. So it makes it easier for people to see where to put the effort and what are the outcomes. These are just the future reality trees. And this would be the topping on our burger. And you can go creative with the topping as much as you would love. So this is it. This is what you should keep in mind about proof of concept project, at least in my opinion. And also, like Snowball, start small. And thank you.